Hello, Kentucky Derby horse racing fans. It's Mark with InHereTheyCome.com. Um, Beginning our handicapping process for the 151st Kentucky Derby, Saturday, May 3rd. So we are just about 2 weeks out as a recording here. What we're going to do is we're going to look at the Big Six um, Derby prep races, the 100-point races, and what their impact has been in recent history of the Superfecta on Kentucky Derby Day to help us decide which the horses coming from which Big Six prep race do we want to put more emphasis on, and in what spots of the Kentucky Derby Superfecta do they tend to show up on. So we're going to start with the Louisiana Derby right now and take a look at that. It wasn't always one of the Big Six prep races. So it was like 10 years ago. It used to be the Illinois Derby, which no longer exists, and neither do the tracks in Illinois, or Arlington doesn't exist any longer. And it wasn't all, the Louisiana Derby wasn't always scheduled 5 weeks out from the Kentucky Derby. Originally in 2009, it was actually 8 weeks out. So it really wasn't a key prep at that time for the Kentucky Derby because you still had 2 months to go before the Run for the Roses. Then in 22, they moved it up a little bit, up to so that it's 6 weeks out. So now it's much closer and more in line with the other Big Five 100-point prep races. So first, we're going to look at the winners of the Louisiana Derby and see how what their impact was on Kentucky Derby Day. So this year, of course, the winner is Tastastic, and so we don't know what his impact's going to be yet. Last year, it was Catching Freedom that won the Louisiana Derby, and he actually showed up on Kentucky Derby Day and ran fourth and hit the bottom of her superfecta. So he had an impact in the Derby superfecta last year. 23, it was Kingsbarn, and no good. Finished 14th in the Kentucky Derby. Epicenter in 2022 ran second. If I remember rightly, he was the favorite in the Kentucky Derby that year. Hot Rod Charlie in 21 ran third. So he not only hit the superfecta, but he also hit the trifecta as the winner of the Louisiana Derby. 2020, the COVID year, it was Wells Bayou. He did not run in the Kentucky Derby. 2019, it was By My Standards. Not much on Derby Day, finishing 12th. Noble Indy finished 17th. Gervin in 2017, not much, finished 13th. And in 2016, the Super Horse Gunrunner ran third in the Kentucky Derby. He didn't have much racing experience behind him. So, of course, in the Kentucky Derby, there was a lot of hype about him. We didn't know he was going to turn out to be as good as he actually did, and let alone in the breeding shed. But he ran third that year, ended up being the horse of the year in 2016. 2015, International Star. Did not make it to the Kentucky Derby. 2014, Bikers in Trouble. Finished 19th, next to last in the Kentucky Derby. The years highlighted in red, just so you know, that's to indicate the years of the new points-based system qualifying for the Kentucky Derby. And then the years prior to 2014, you qualified based on earnings. 2013, Revolutionary hit the trifecta in the Kentucky Derby, finishing third. 2012, Hero of Order did not participate in the Kentucky Derby. Pants on Fire finished ninth, ran in the middle of the field. Mission Impassable, same thing, finished ninth in 2010. 2009, Freezing Fire finished 18th. 2008, the winner ran 8th again in the Kentucky Derby. 2007, finished 6th. 2006, the Louisiana Derby was not held because of Hurricane Katrina wiping out the fairgrounds. 2005, High Limit, dead last, finished 20th. Wimbledon, did not run in the Derby, Kentucky Derby. Peace Rules ran third in 2003 in the Kentucky Derby. Repent did not run in the Kentucky Derby. 50 Stars in 2001 finished ninth, mid-pack. And then in 2000, Mighty did not race in the Kentucky Derby. So just recapping the success of Louisiana Derby winners on Kentucky Derby Day. There hasn't been any winners since 2000. There was one that came in second. However, there were 4 Louisiana Derby winners that actually came in third, and one that came in fourth. So there's been some impact, especially in recent years, in the third and fourth position of the Kentucky Derby Superfecta. So we definitely want to give some consideration to the winner this year. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look at all runners coming from the Louisiana Derby and how they did on Kentucky Derby Day. So here we're going to look at any of the horses that ran in the Louisiana Derby that made it to the Kentucky Derby. What was their impact on the Superfecta? So again, last year, 2024, the winner finished fourth at odds of 8-1. In 2023, the runner-up in the Louisiana Derby finished fourth in the Kentucky Derby at odds of 27-1. Nice odds. Has a big impact in the Superfecta at those odds. 2022, the winner that year of the Louisiana Derby finished second at 4-1 odds. That was Epicenter. And 2021, the 6th place runner in the Louisiana Derby actually put in a big effort on Kentucky Derby Day, running second at odds of 27-1. And the winner of the Louisiana Derby that year also hit the trifecta and superfecta at 6-1 odds, running third in the Kentucky Derby. So we got 2 impacts in the 4 spots of the superfecta with Louisiana Derby horses. So as you can see, in recent years, those runners have been hitting the superfecta in each of the last 4 years. Then in 2020, no impact. 19, no impact. 18, no impact. 17, no impact. And then in 2016, the winner that year ran third in the Kentucky Derby at odds of 10-1. 2015, no impact. 2014, the 3rd place runner in the Louisiana Derby that year actually finished second on Kentucky Derby Day at nice big odds of 38-1. 2013, the 4th place runner in the Louisiana Derby ran second in the Kentucky Derby at big odds of 34-1, while the winner of the Louisiana Derby that year finished third on the Kentucky Derby at odds of 6-1. So another year where we have a double impact in the 4 spots of the Kentucky Derby Superfecta. Nice odds there. 2012, no impact. 2011, the runner-up in the Louisiana Derby was also the runner-up in the Kentucky Derby at odds of 8-1. The 3rd place runner that year in the Louisiana Derby actually finished 4th in the Kentucky Derby at odds of 9-1. So another year where 2 Louisiana Derby runners took down 2 spots of the Kentucky Derby Superfecta. So as you can see, we do want to give some emphasis to the runners coming out of the Louisiana Derby. 2010, no impact. 2009, we got the impact in the 4th position of the Superfecta, where the runner-up that year in the Louisiana Derby finished 4th in the Kentucky Derby at odds of 12-1. Same thing in 2008, We have the sixth place runner of the Louisiana Derby running fourth in the Kentucky Derby at odds of 37 to 1. 2007, we have the fourth place runner also running fourth on the Kentucky Derby Day at odds of 29 to 1. 2006, there was no Louisiana Derby that year due to the Hurricane Katrina. 2005, there was no impact on Kentucky Derby Day, none in 2004. 2003, the runner-up in the Louisiana Derby won the Kentucky Derby. It was funny side at odds of 13 to 1, while the winner of the Louisiana Derby that year also ran third in the Kentucky Derby at odds of 6 to 1. So there's another year where two of the Louisiana Derby horses hit the Kentucky Derby Superfecta in 2 out of the 4 spots. 2002, 2001, no impact. And in the year 2000, the runner-up in the Louisiana Derby that year ran fourth in the Kentucky Derby at odds of 11 to 1. So let's quick recap here of all runners from the Louisiana Derby participating in the Kentucky Derby, their impact in the Kentucky Derby Superfecta. We had one winner at odds of 13 to 1. We have 5 others run second at average odds of 22 to 1. And then in the third spot, we had 4 more runners from the Louisiana Derby at average odds of 7 to 1. And then we had 7 Louisiana Derby runners finish fourth in the Kentucky Derby at average odds of 19 to 1. So what do you think? What's the consideration? What's what we want that we should be giving runners from the Louisiana Derby on Kentucky Derby Day? This is telling us we definitely want to give them strong consideration, especially in the third and fourth spots of our Kentucky Derby Superfectas. Now, this looks to be the runners this year coming out of the Louisiana Derby. It's going to run in the Kentucky Derby. Of course, we got the winner. Tistastic won the Louisiana Derby at odds of 7 to 1, paying $17 for the win. Actually has 919 points on the Derby points leaderboard. And his race record this year, in 2005, he's had 3 races with 1 win and 1 third. Also looking to participate is Chunk of Gold, who ran second in the Louisiana Derby. Went off at odds of 10 to 1, paid $8.40 for the place price, and he has a total of 75 points on the Derby leaderboard. And his race record this year, 3 races, 3 seconds. So he's never been worse than second in his 3 races. He's never been out of the exacta in his 3 races this year. So he definitely could have an impact this year. And then we have Built, the 5th place runner. Now, Built is actually, there's changes every day going on who's going to run in the Kentucky Derby, who was dropping out. Well, we have also, it looked like Built was going to get in, but then we had a decision made by Owen Almighty, who had dropped out a week ago. Now today decided he's going to participate in the Kentucky Derby. So that has bumped Built out of the field and is the next one to get into the Derby field if there's another defection. Now, Built has 45 points. His Louisiana Derby odds were 6 to 1. This year, his career race record is 3 races, 1 second, and 1 third. So he's back to the outside looking in, but if there's another defection, he'll get into the race. Now, if you've been following us for the last 25 years in our handicapping, you know the importance we put on having the Raise a Native sire line, top sire side, pedigree line. It is a critical factor that we find in Kentucky Derby winners, Belmont Stakes winners, and Breeders' Cup Classic winners. As a matter of fact, the Native Sire line has been found in the winner of 17 of the last 30 Kentucky Derby winners. That's over 50%, folks. Those 17 winners, their average Derby Day payoff was $42.18. So that's like what, an average odds of 20 to 1 going off on Kentucky Derby Day. Of the horses looking to participate this year in the Kentucky Derby, coming out of the Louisiana Derby, none of them have the critical pedigree line of Rays of Native on the top sire side. Doesn't mean they're not going to win or they're not going to hit the board. It's just that they don't have one of our key pedigree factors that we use in our handicapping system for Kentucky Derby. Kentucky Derby Day, it's Derby fever is starting to rise. We're 2 weeks out right now. There's more uninformed players in Kentucky Derby Day than dumping millions of dollars into the various wagering pools than on any other race day of the year. The secret to being successful is being able to arm yourself with better information. Then it's important that you have a proven and thought out method for handicapping and deciding who are the top selections, who are the ones, which runners do you want to use to fill out your bottom of your superfectas and trifectas. It's important that you have that proven, thought-out system so that you can wager with confidence on Kentucky Derby Day. Handicapping the big 20-horse field that we only see in the United States once a year, and that's the Kentucky Derby. You need to have better information. You need to know those factors that are critical and that have been proven to produce the most Derby winners. Then you need a wagering strategy. It allows you to maximize your coverage in your trifectas and superfectas in a 20-horse field for a minimum amount of dollars to spend on your tickets. And that is what you'll get with our proven winning Derby profile. It's based on our 30 years of our experience of betting, of handicapping the Derby, the Triple Crown races, and the Breeders' Cup. This is our 25th year for the proven winning Derby profile. So it isn't something we just dreamt of a couple years ago. We've been doing this since 2001 with our proven winning profile. It consists of 22 factors that we have found that are critical on being able to win the Kentucky Derby. The factors are comprised of the racing campaigns of both the 2-year-old and 3-year-old, as well as the most critical pedigree lines that are common in Derby winners on both the sire side as well as the broodmare sire lines. You will be given all that information in the Derby profile. We provide you the list. There's 5 different pedigree lines that we look for on the different positions in the horse's lineage. So from the sire side to the broodmare sire side, and a combination of all those. We provide you with lists of which of the Derby runners have these various pedigree lines. We then provide you with a rating system. For each of the 22 factors, we have associated a points-based system that you assign points for every runner that has one of those 22 factors, and you basically just add up the points, and you'll generally find the winner, if not the exacta, in the top 3 to 5 scorers. And then we give you the factors to help you determine which of the runners you should be using to fill in at the bottom of your superfecta and trifecta. Once the past performances are made available, we'll also provide you links of where you can download free past performances for the Derby as well as the Kentucky Oaks as well. So you can go out to our website, andheretheycome.com, and get your copy of the 2025 updated version of the Proven Winning Derby profile. It's available for immediate download. You don't have to wait for anything. Once your payment's processed, you'll be taken to a download page to get it immediately. Also, when you go to our website, we also make our selections available as well. So if you're interested in our picks, we make our picks available for just the Derby race. Or if you're interested for the full card, which is like 14 races in a card, we also offer those for purchase as well. So for all 14 races, we'll give you our selections for the wins, the exactas, trifectas, and superfectas. Your daily doubles, your pick threes and pick fours and pick fives are all included in the full card. It's really a good deal. Also, when you go to our website, you'll see where we also have special discounted pricing for the Triple Crown Series. So if you're interested in subscribing to our services for the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness Stakes, and the Belmont Stakes, all of them together, there's discounted special pricing options available. So you can go out to our website, and heretheycome.com, and take a look around out there, and go ahead and sign up. You can sign up for just the picks if you're not interested in the Proven Winning Derby profile, or you can get them both together. We'll be posting a same type of video for the other 5 100-point prep races, so you know which ones are going to be the best ones to considering have produced the most winners, as well as runner-ups, third-place runners, fourth-place runners, to fill out your superfectas and trifectas. Again, thanks for watching. Good luck, folks.